Okay, thank you, Julie. Went slightly over, but I'll give you that. So, to my immediate right is James Blanchard. James is the Liberal Democrat Parliamentary Prospective candidate. He's from Scunthorpe. Huddersfield, sorry. You ran in Scunthorpe in 2010, right? Huddersfield, sorry. Ran in Huddersfield in 2010.
I think I was Scunthorpe.
Sorry, that's it. Sorry. My notes have actually been printed off, so I'm going off from memory, so I apologise if I do any slip-ups like that. He's currently a councillor in Huddersfield, and as I said, in 2010 he ran for the Huddersfield MP. He works in York, he's worked for several national companies, and he's moving to York now, where he currently works with his family, and which is why he's stepping down as local councillor at the end of May. So,
thanks for that, Callum. You missed out that I'm married to a lady from York as well, but apart from that. Good evening, thanks for coming this evening. It's great to see such a wonderful turnout. Lots of people will say young people aren't interested in politics, but you know, you guys put the light to that, don't you? And it's an exciting general election because this is going to be an unusual one in which we don't know what the result will be right until the very last votes are counted, I believe. And it's all about the future of our country. We're going to be talking about making decisions which will be affecting the lives of everybody in this country and will actually be affecting the entirety of your lives in this country. I'm a Liberal Democrat, and to me, liberalism is about freedom. It's about freedom from poverty, it's about freedom from ignorance, and it's about freedom from the need to conform. And you can't create freedom without creating opportunity. So opportunity is at the core of everything we've been trying to do in the coalition government. So let me take you back to 5 years ago. We really were on the ledge of an economic abyss. We had the worst recession since the 1930s, unemployment was rocketing to 3 million people, and everyone was saying it was only going to get worse. Our borrowing as a proportion of GDP was as high as Greece, and we all know what's happened there since. And we just had a general election in which there was no decisive winner. So I think the Liberal Democrats were absolutely right to see that parties needed to work together to give leadership and stability on the economy to provide those opportunities for all of our futures. And what we've been able to get working in coalition government, as I say, has been focused on opportunity. We've been able to cut income tax bills for the lowest paid by £800, which David Cameron, if you look at the YouTube clips of the last TV debates, said was completely unaffordable. We've put in free school meals for the youngest children at primary school, and we've invested £2.5 billion per year on the school pupils from the poorest background, whether they're from big cities, whether from the most rural areas, whether from suburban towns, wherever. It's been targeted on need, whereas in the past it was pet projects of the Labour government focusing on particularly inner city schools, despite what the need of those children might be. We've given 15 hours of free childcare to parents so that they've got the freedom to get back into the labour market if they so wish. We've increased personal freedom by enabling new parents to share maternity leave so that mums and dads can decide exactly how they care for a new baby and who goes back to work as and when. And we've been able to allow people to marry who they want to. I think equal marriage is incredibly important as a measure of respect for everybody in our society. On top of that, we've been able to protect NHS budgets and education budgets in the face of a recession. And there's been so much of that I think all observers have to agree the Conservatives just would not have done on their own because they wanted to focus on tax cuts. To me, so liberalism, as I said, is about freedom. So freedom from whom, you might ask? It's freedom from an overbearing state. We're so lucky in this country to have notions of freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, when so many other places in this world, as you might see in news from places like Russia, where you do not have freedoms that we all take for granted. It's freedom from a big business that can overbear on us and detract from people who want to set up their own small businesses, and freedom from societal norms, so that you can be who you want to be and who you are. It's also about freedom for whom, and I mean this when I say it's freedom for everybody. Every single person in this country is equally deserving of respect, freedom and happiness, and they deserve that respect to be enshrined in law. Now that notion of individuality is unique to the Liberal Democrats amongst the big three political parties, and I think that's perhaps why you see much less big donors coming from big business and the trade unions to our party. So much of our party is funded by lots of small donations from private individuals. It's also about freedom for what? It's freedom for you to live your life in your way. It's not for somebody in Parliament or somebody in the government to tell you how to do it. So that's where you want to live. It's who you want to marry, if you want to marry. It's who you want to work for, if you want to start a small business. It's if you want to practice a religion and how you practice that religion. To me, liberalism is a really forward-looking philosophy. It's about how the individual can reach their potential, rather than seeing somebody as a class or person that they've come from. Every single person is an individual. And that's rooted in our manifesto for the next election. Nobody knows what is going to happen in May this year when it comes to the election. I don't know if we will be in the government or not. I don't know if the two parties to the right of me might form a grand coalition because many of their members refuse to rule it out. But whatever happens, we will be putting pressure to increase your freedom. We'll be doing that by keeping pressure on to keep the economic gains we've made so that there are jobs for you when you graduate from university. We want further tax cuts focused on the lowest paid. We want to guarantee equal care for people with mental health issues, not just the physical health issues, and we're spending £8 billion on the NHS to do that. We want more childcare, so there's a direct route from maternity leave to when a child starts school. We want new laws to protect the environment so that we've got our woodlands and our natural places in a trust for future generations to keep. Because it's not just you. It's my children who are 2 and 1, and the children and grandchildren that you may or may not have, who are going to pay the cost of our environmental malaise over the last few years. And I want more funding for free school meals to make sure that those children who are poorest have the best possible start in life. Because every study shows that the most important thing to do is to get those children from the poorest background, get a good meal inside and give them good education, and then they can do just as well as children from richer backgrounds. And to do that, we also need a qualified teacher in every classroom. That's a stamp of thought for my last minute, isn't it? Thank you.